Hey everybody, Chuck Barone here. Momentous day, Wednesday, November the 9th, 2022, post-election day. Before we get into the show though, as always, I want to thank everybody for being here, watching the videos and supporting the channel. We appreciate you guys, we really do. In the markets today, let's wrap this up real quick because we got a lot to talk about today. Markets down, stock market's down at least. I think now we have a little bit of fear going into this market. Not quite sure how things are going to play out with this election yet. Bad earnings coming in today from Disney and Dow. So now that kind of put the market in a little bit negative mood. As we all know, the one thing the stock market hates is uncertainty, or what it deems to be uncertainty, because anybody who thinks anything is certain hasn't lived very long. But stock's down. It's going to be interesting. Tomorrow is a huge day. I can't wait to see, as much as the results today were pretty predictable with the election results, tomorrow is going to be another monster day. Expect a big day in the market. We'll have to see with everything how it turns out, which way. Bonds today, prices down, yields up a little bit. 10-year sitting at 4.15%, up 3 basis points. 2-year sitting at 4.58%, actually down 9 basis points today. I think that there's a little bit of an idea that this divided government is going to be good. It's going to kind of knock the government off balance and make them do a little less meddling in the economy, and they'll be focusing on other things. So we'll see how it plays out, but the bond market reacting. Dollar also reacting today, up 3/4 of a point on the index at 110.44. Still the king of the jungle, man. The dollar is, against other world currencies at least, holding its own. I think that tomorrow's a monster day. We know CPI tomorrow. We'll see how the dollar holds up. Metals today down with the dollar up. Gold down $5.90, sitting at $1,707 per ounce, 70 cents. Silver $21.13, down 29 cents today. Not a bad day considering the strength of the dollar. I think metals are looking pretty solid right now, looking for a reason to rally. I won't be surprised, depending on this data, to see the metals market moving pretty big one way or the other tomorrow. Oil today, down again, down 3.5% today, down to $85.83. Looks like it wants to get back into that long-time trough between 80 and 85. Natural gas, today a mild day, only down 4.5% to 586 for their million BTU. Oil and gas have been just a market that's been gyrating all over the place. Lots of rumor and speculation in the market. Be careful if you're in these markets, guys. I mean, oil stocks have been killing it, but if you're trading in oil, gas, and commodities or anything like that, be really cautious. It looks like a wild ride. Bitcoin today, getting killed again, down $2,750 to $15,800. As most of you know, one of the big exchanges for cryptos had a massive liquidity problems. They were getting hit, from what I understand, they got hit for $1.4 billion in redemptions in one day. Another brokerage came in, going to ride in as the white knight and come to the rescue. Now there's a little bit of talk about that deal might be flaking out. There's a lot of uncertainty in not only Bitcoin, but all the cryptos. Be cautious if you have your money in those guys. News you guys need today. Well, as we all know, yesterday was election day. Results still trickling in from around the country, depending on where you live. It looks like we're going to end up with divided government. It looks like the Republicans are certainly going to take the House. There's a little bit of still what's going to happen in the Senate. It looks like even if the Republicans take the Senate, it's going to barely be a Senate thing. There's 3 seats that are left that look contested. You have Arizona, where it looks like the Democrat, as it stands right now, is holding his own and will probably win that race. So the Republicans will then need to pick up the other 2 to get a majority. The other 2 being here in Nevada. Senator Cortez Masto is behind Laxalt right now. There's some speculation she could come back with mail-in. The way they counted the votes here in Nevada is kind of weird. They counted all the people who voted yesterday in person. So all the balloting that was done yesterday is counted, and those are the results we're looking at. Now they're going to dig into all the absentee mail-in ballots. Everybody in the state of Nevada gets a mail-in ballot. It's a large, especially for the blue team, a large portion of those mail-in ballots will be for Democrats. We'll see if it's enough to save Cortez Masto. If that's the case, then the Democrats will retain their majority. And the other race that's undecided now is the Georgia race, which is going to a runoff between Warnock and Herschel Walker. So we'll see how that one turns out. That race was razor thin, neither one getting the 50%. So now they drop off the rest of the people who got votes. It's just between those two in their runoff. I think that the results were really mixed yesterday. Everybody was kind of expecting a red wave, a big move to the Republicans. I think for reasons, a million different reasons, that wave did not materialize. Honestly, I was a little bit surprised. The Democrats looked shockingly weak. They didn't really have much of an argument as far as the economy. They didn't even really talk much about the economy. So divided government we get. Hopefully, I'm hoping that this could maybe be the first step toward at least some type of reconciliation between the parties where, because things are the way they are, they can learn to horse trade or compromise or whatever the word is and go, okay, look, you guys want this tax cut, we want this, boom, figure it out, man. You want to fund Ukraine, we don't, we want to get them, reduce some spending, here's, they got to find, there's some stuff I think that they agree on, and they can move to that stuff quickly if they want to. There's some stuff that they can hash out if they horse trade back and forth. At least we can try and do something for the country, the people in this country, other than the lowest rung and the highest rung. The guys in the middle, us, the schmuckatellis, we're screwed, man. So I guess the eternal optimist in me is hoping that they'll do something. It's really more likely that we'll get a lot of investigations, a lot of sensational trials and TV posturing, and a lot of stuff except doing anything for the benefit of the people. Now, I'll tell you one thing to listen to closely, guys. If you're in this market and you're actively trading in the market, if you just have your 401k and you're not really trading much, you know what you need to do. But if you're actively trading in this market, watch the data closely. Because I don't really think the market has any type of idea what's going to come next. So that it's totally data-driven speculation. So the market's been moving every day depending on the data or the speculation coming out of the market. So be very, very cautious right now. What's moving the market is rumor and data. I think fear right now is definitely has way more strength than greed does. Expect the markets to have big moves up and down according to the changes in the data. It's just going to be an insane time. So hunker down, guys, until this market gets a little bit of idea of the political direction of this country. There's going to be some uncertainty. Govern yourself accordingly. Tomorrow is a monster day. As big a day as today was with the election results. Tomorrow we get CPI. It's going to give us an idea of where the Fed is going to go, I believe. They're expecting 7.9% inflation on the top line, 6.5% inflation at core. These are horrible numbers. Even if they hit these numbers, it's way, way, way out of line. Hopefully the numbers will come in at those what they're expecting or less, and we won't get any kind of real surprise to the upside, which would really upset the apple cart. This inflation's horrible. It's affecting people now in a very negative way. People have not adjusted to it yet. The lucky people are the people who have some savings or are seeing the rates go up on their savings. Stock market, amazingly, I was reading a statistic. It said stock market typically rallies 15% year over year after a midterm election. So we'll see. Today's results were certainly not a good start on that rally. But so tomorrow we get CPI. And again, we're going to talk about how the data is going to drive the market. This CPI number is going to be a huge indicator, especially not only in the stock market, but in the bond market, what's going to happen. But tomorrow, at the same time, we get the unemployment numbers. So I think what's going to end up happening tomorrow is the unemployment numbers will be strong, showing the jobs market is still out there creating tons of jobs and people are getting them if they want them. The inflation numbers are going to be terrible. We're going to have a jarring conflict of data, so we have a strong economy with high inflation that is going to signal to the market that rates can continue to go up without any real risk to the Fed of cratering the economy super hard. It's just going to be fascinating to watch it all play out. Big pressure now on these elected or appointed high honchos in Washington. You know, Powell's got to be feeling it now because they really put some pressure on this economy with these rate hikes, especially in real estate, right? No effect whatsoever, really, on inflation. Where if they're going to celebrate breaking under 8%, that's not great, especially with core going up. Big pressure on the Fed, big pressure on banks. Now the government, the people that have spoken here in this midterm, it's going to be fascinating to see how these elected schmucks respond to it. Are they going to actually listen to what the people voted for? Are they going to go wandering off into their own weird crap that they do nonstop? It's just going to be a great time to be alive. If you're following up the advice we've been giving you guys, you're doing well right now. You're saving more money than you typically have. You're not adding on new debt. Your portfolio might have taken a small hit, but if you're in a defensive position, you're probably still doing pretty good. In some cases, actually making money. If you're being a little more judicious about how you spend your money, you're finding yourself a little extra scratch in your wallets at the end of the month. You know, these are basic fundamental economic things, and it's what's called for right now, guys. You do not need any razzle-dazzle trading strategies, insider tips on, ooh, this is a good idea or that's a good idea. None of that right now. The time right now, survival, man. Let's get an idea of where this economy is going, because as we know, and we've explained on the show many, many times, the Fed has to cause a recession to bring inflation down. Are we there yet? Well, we looked like we were when we had 2 negative quarters in a row. Now it looks like we're going to have 2 positive quarters in a row and a positive GDP for the year. I don't know how they're going to define that as a recession. So we just got a lot to look forward to watching. Hunker down, guys. Prepare yourselves. Oh, by the way, I remember I was telling you that when all this was ended and we came out of the darkness and into the light again, that everything you guys were thinking of would be on sale. I was reading an article today. It was saying Rolex watches are down right now from the beginning of the year, almost 25% if you're buying a pre-owned watch. So there you go. If you're a person that's been wanting to buy a Rolex, prices are moving your way, and they're going to do that with a lot of stuff that just were overvalued and stupid during the easy money times, during the big boom. Now that stuff's going to come back down to earth, so get ready for the bargains. Anyway, guys, that's it for today. Tomorrow we'll have way more about the election results. We'll get a better idea of what's happening as far as the control of the Senate's going to go. We know we got CPI in the employment numbers. Big report tomorrow. We'll give you guys a little bit of direction on what you guys should be doing. Until we talk then, take care. Thanks.